Hey everyone, Matt Goldich here from the Sorry I've Been So Busy podcast. We got another repeat for you this week, unfortunately, but fortunately it's an episode with Sam Morril, who is a really funny and also very nice comedian, and this is only a few months old, but we wanted to rerun it because his Comedy Central special, Positive Influence, premieres this Friday on Comedy Central at 11 p.m., so you can get two chances to hear how hilarious Sam is, one right here on the podcast, and another on Friday on Comedy Central. Sam was also on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon this Monday, so he had a great set on there as well. And thanks to everybody for continuing to check us out. Hope to be back with new episodes soon. Andrew and I miss you guys. Stay busy, everybody.
Until I met my new best friend, all of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail 'cause I'm
Alex, are we rolling? We are rolling. Welcome to another episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is the podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they are busy with. Sometimes we talk to not very busy people, but what they're not that busy with. Today's guest, not sure what to expect. Very excited to have him on, though. Very funny gentleman. Andrew Goldstein is here.
At Ange Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
Well done, sir. Great to see you. My name is
Thanks
Matt
for listening.
Goldich, at Matt Goldich, MattGoldich. We're here at Showbiz Studios. Producer Alex is here. ShowbizStudios.com, the YouTube page, the Facebook page, at Showbiz, BRIZ Studios on Twitter for all the information about all the great podcasts they have here. Who's Defend Your Movie? Give us the most recent guest on Defend Your Movie.
It was an amazing episode. We had Rachel Feinstein.
Ooh, former guest
Former guest of us, love her.
I was wearing like shorts and like a Bermuda
Of course
sort of
you were.
t-shirt,
Mhm.
and she goes, "What did you go to? Rape Tech?"
What movie did she defend?
She defended what's that Michael J. Fox movie from the like late '80s?
Teen Wolf.
Something Success in it.
Secret of My Success?
Secret of My Success.
Is
Great
that
movie.
considered a bad movie that
It
she had to
is.
defend
It
it?
got like a
No way.
40 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Interesting.
There's
Okay.
good music in that movie.
Good. I haven't seen it. That's exciting. We had her on. She's great. And thank you to all of our fans. Thank you to everybody who's been checking us out.
All the busybodies.
Please follow us on Twitter or at Busy
We're
Podcast.
really starting to percolate with organic fans.
Yes.
It took us, we're like in the hundreds now. We're really starting to resonate.
Speaking of which, our busybody of the week.
Yeah, who's
somebody,
our busybody?
somebody who tweeted us at Busy Podcast.
This is what I'm talking
Dan
about.
Smith. Not the
guitar
somebody
playing
guitar Dan
virtuoso.
Smith, who will teach you guitar whether you like it or not.
He will
asshole.
teach you.
This is Dan Smith at Feast of Dan on Twitter. Tweets at Busy Podcast. Shameless attempt to be a busybody all the way from Australia. It worked, Dan. Got hooked on Busy Podcast with the Brian Tucker episode. Great episode.
Love that episode.
Co-head writer of SNL. Since then, dove into the archives, and Bill Sheft and David Feldman have been big highlights. The guy likes writers.
Yeah.
I think it's clear.
I think it's clear. But people are finding our podcast.
Definitely second fave thing named Busy behind at Busy Phillips.
Yeah, and then I tweeted, I replied to him and
Yeah.
Busy Phillips. Now we have to have Busy Phillips on the show. And she has a new late night show coming out, so
Sorry, I've been myself.
sorry I've been
Is
Busy
what?
Phillips.
Yeah. So Dan Smith, our busy body of the week at work.
He
buddy.
will teach you guitar and
will-
listen to your podcast.
Yes, he will tweet you. Fan, I don't have it. That's a New York
Nailed
thing.
it.
Yeah, I did opposite. Whatever. What's the opposite of nailed it? Screwed it. But thank you. Yeah, thank you to all of our. And please, another way you can become Busybody of the Week is write us a review on iTunes, and or follow us on Facebook, and lots of ways to find us. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play,
Whatever that is.
yeah. And like I said,
AM, FM,
yeah,
both.
yeah. We're on Zune. What have you been busy with, Andrew? By the way, we should mention. Sorry, before I ask you that quickly, we are recording this episode. This is how much we love about this podcast. We're recording it during a Sixers playoff game that we are
missed
missing.
Game 4
Yeah,
because Game 3
brutal. We watched it together.
hurt my soul.
Absolutely rough one.
We did watch it
Yeah.
together. But, look, I complain a lot here in this portion of the podcast, and this is certainly an uptown problem, a white person problem. Really, it's a problem that could affect any race of people.
Sure.
The elevator in our building has been turned off for the last month because they are fully renovating the whole elevator system. And, look, we live on the third floor. It's not that big of an inconvenience.
How many elevators in this building?
two. There's sort of a west side and an east side.
And they're both shut down?
They're both, everything's shut down, or it might just be the East Bank. But anyway, once you go from having elevator service to no elevator service, it doesn't matter what floor you're on. It completely changes your life.
How many stories is the building?
Like 7.
That is rough. You're in a
No, 7.
The people on the 7th floor, I imagine some of them must be
Yeah, it's a whole
quite
thing.
old.
And I don't know the answers to a lot of it because we have like this one it's terrible. He really handicapped person, so I think they might have moved him to the other side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some really
Wait, the elevator works on the other side?
I think so. And then there's some really older people in our building that I don't. This poor guy, he shuffles down the steps every day, and it takes him forever. Anyway, it really changes your life. I mean, the people who are to do laundry, you can't take the elevator down with your heavy things. You have to walk down the steps with your bags of laundry, walk out of the building, walk around this gate, down the outside steps into the basement, do your laundry, then walk out, up, back, over, back up. Then you got to go back down with your dryer sheet, to move the. It's just a whole thing. We see people walking out with their laundry. You got to walk outside and then down. It's a whole thing. But so the perfect example of the inconvenience of it, or just the effect it's having on my life. Friday night, my wife is away. Jamie was out of town for work. I had a Friday night to myself, and I came home from work, and I wasn't necessarily hungry right away, and I may have fallen asleep a little bit. So by the time I got up and I was ready to eat dinner, it was 9 o'clock, and I was like, ugh, I don't really want to do seamless because best case scenario, it's here in 30 minutes. I want something now. And normally I could just get in the elevator, go down, and go really quick to a close place, and it's it would be 10, 15 minutes. But now with the steps, it would be the same exact amount of time as an ordering.
Walking down 2 flights of stairs?
3 flights. No, but it's the walking down, going out, getting the stuff, waiting for it, getting it, coming back, going up the steps. It's just I'm saying going from having elevator service to not. So I ended up eating a tuna sandwich on a Friday night for dinner. I'm about to be 40.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
by yourself. Yeah.
I Friday night. I feel like I should do something special. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's caused. Yeah.
If
when we're walking home, let's say we were walking all day and we're 2 blocks from home. It's not. It was we still have the steps to go up.
And you're moving on top of this right now.
We're moving. It completely pushed our whole move back because we couldn't move when we wanted to move. We had to wait till the elevators are restored. We just got the email today. They're restored as of tomorrow.
Oh, good. It's funny you should mention this because I'm going through a similar thing in a different way right now that I hadn't even considered until you brought it up, which is that a few weeks ago on a Monday, I dropped my kid off at school and I went to walk to the subway, and my subway station, the entire station, closed till September. So I had to change my whole route to work.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's like if you owned a car and then you took your car in for service and you didn't get it back for a month and you have to change to public transportation. It's not really an inconvenience, but it changes your whole life.
Yeah. I have very little sympathy for you having to walk down 2 floors to get dinner.
3 flights.
There are other parts of it. The laundry, you had me a little bit with the old people and the infirm.
The old people.
And
this
the
guy
infirm in the building. You had me. I was like, that's really hard for them. When you said I don't want to walk down 3 flights to get dinner.
It was 9 o'clock. Walk down and then I got to walk back up with the food. It's 30 minutes till I could eat. That's really what was behind it. So I made a tuna sandwich.
The amount of time that you're adding between elevator and stairs seems to me flawed.
And then also walking my dog. You got to walk down with the dog.
Sure.
Take him out, then go back. Then you got to go back up the steps.
That's a real issue.
He's looking at me really, the steps again?
I feel like you sometimes this is a thing you do where you bring up something that is genuinely inconvenient, but then the example of why it's inconvenient is not the best example.
I'm not, look.
No, yeah.
I'm not a good lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
good at stating my case.
No, but it's a pain. Yeah.
I'm just saying, going from having the service, it's like first class to economy class. I can't go back. I won't.
I hate tuna, so it's one I fully understand.
I've been eating some. I'm living on tuna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love it.
Watch out for your mercury.
Shout out to Westside Market.
That's. I'm sorry. I'm glad it's being restored just in time for you to leave the building.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, we're back with our guest. Very exciting to have him here. One of the funniest comedians out there. Guy I see all around New York. Just a great joke writer, great performer, all around really funny guy. Sam Morril.
Thank
Did I
you.
say it right, Morril?
You nailed it.
Okay,
Thanks for
good.
being here.
I don't know why it's so challenging. It's a short name. It should be easy.
Because phonetically, it makes no sense. I'm just
Right.
doing what my dad, like, he's like, that's how you say it. And I'm like, well, I have to correct everyone for the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
Hey, Goldstein.
Yeah.
I'm there all
So
day,
it's
every day.
It's another annoying one.
Yeah.
Einstein had to deal with that.
If I'm Goldstein. Most people think Goldstein.
Yeah.
The name is the thing preventing you from being an obvious Jew, I would say, right?
I guess.
Or
My
also
mom-
you're a little bit. Are you not quite?
No, I'm a Jew.
you're
No, I was going to say my mom's last name is Greenberg. So
Oh, there you go.
that would've been-
until she married my dad, I was saying
Yeah.
Greenberg.
You're also you also have a little bit of a hard edge that masks the Jewiness somewhat, I would say.
I think it's a lot of repressed anger.
Yeah, there are some hard Jews, right? I mean, like
No,
you
I'm
know.
not hard. I'm just,
No, yeah.
I just have dark features and a deep voice.
There, yeah.
I feel like the hair
Not
could
hard.
grow out to a Jewfro.
Have you had a Jewfro
If
at
given the
Yeah,
time
at
and
any
the
point in
chance?
time?
It looks horrible. Especially in the summer. Like the humidity, it's just, you're just like,
You
oh,
could grow
that guy.
payas.
I don't know what that is.
What do people think it is? Moral?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I get moral a lot. This is like
Yeah.
an Alu Bell bit. This
Oh my God, that's a deep.
7 minutes on his name.
Yeah.
Great bit though. That joke was for nobody.
No,
one
I
knows
got
it.
it. Yeah. He has the song, right? Yeah.
I don't know. He was a great. Oh, it was.
We should
like,
get Alu
he's
Bell
still
right.
alive. He's a great joke writer.
That's the goal, is to make it to the point in the business where people talk about you in the past tense. when
Well,
you're
he
still
moved to
alive.
L.A. He's that
That's
does
pretty
here
much-
when you move to L.A.
Have you always been here?
I've always been here.
Did you
I grew
grow
up in New York City.
Grew up in New York City.
And
Oh, you're a city kid.
I'm a city kid. I went to college here. I left for a year and a half to go to Tulane University, and then I came back. I was there. I was here for 9/11. I was there for Katrina.
Wow,
So
you double dipped.
I'm bad luck.
2 for 2.
9/11 was what? Was high school? It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember I got into a fight with a teacher because she gave us a pop quiz on 9/11. And I was like, we just got attacked by terrorists. And she was like, she didn't speak great English. She was a Spanish teacher. She's like, no. She was like, no. And I was like, no, I mean, we did. It's on the news. And she was like, no.
Your Spanish teacher gave you a pop quiz on 9/11. What were
Yeah.
the questions?
Well, no,
Do you support ISIS?
It was
That the first question.
misleading. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Was the pop quiz about 9/11, or did
No,
it take
no.
place on
On
9/11?
9/11.
Okay, that's
But
what you
we
meant.
had
It
just
sounded
found-
like you said you got a pop quiz on 9/11.
Oh, no,
like,
no.
Which tower fell first?
Como se dice?
I can't, that's just info that would never come in handy.
Wait,
ever.
so you didn't? Because I remember everything being canceled on 9/11.
No, but I mean, we're already in school.
Oh, okay. They didn't send you home,
They did, but it took a while.
right?
It took a while. I was like, we got to get
Where was your school?
62nd between Park and Madison.
Como se dice covered in soot?
Was it a Spanish? It was a Spanish quiz.
Yeah, I was so. This teacher hated me so much.
Oh my God.
I kind of thought there was like sexual tension because of how much she hated me, but I think she just hated me.
Yeah.
Because I was like 16.
Right. And you were a city kid, so you were
Yeah.
probably a little bit cocky. I mean, were
little.
all the kids a little? I mean, like, that was my...
Not cocky, but we thought we were more precocious than we were, I think.
Yeah.
When did you start riding the subway? I'm always fascinated with city.
Very young. Like, very
Just
young.
unsupervised
Yeah.
subway rides.
Yeah, I think it was just part of like, I guess you don't really think about it, I guess. I don't know.
That is the thing where, like, I hear people say things like on podcasts or in interviews where they talk about how the world used to be so much more innocent and the kids aren't as independent as they used to be. And I'm like, I see, like, kids, unless I'm just old and they're older than I think, but I see kids that look like 9, 10, 11-year-olds just walking the streets by themselves all the time, like on the way to school.
Oh, yeah, with like the little rolly bags. They look like they're 50.
Yeah.
You know? They have the rolly bags and like they're on their phone. It's like,
I see it all the time, like a kid just like busting out his front door with like a bagel and cream cheese, like walking in the subway or something like that.
Well, like, could you imagine putting Graham on the subway by himself at 10?
No, but then I could imagine. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with it.
It's also like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I feel like, yeah, you just have to. That's just how you live in New York. It's like walking. If you're in the suburbs, it's like walking around. It's like walking your neighbor. It's just how you get around.
That's what I think. Yeah. But it is a strange. I think they do grow up faster. But I get maybe that's all collapsed now because of the internet. Maybe the whole world grows up faster than.
I think everywhere you go, people are like, New York kids are so fucked up. But like, you go to like the suburbs, and these people have like face tattoos and shit. You're like, they're not. It's not like they're not growing up.
They're doing math,
right?
They're doing. Everyone's doing stuff
like 2
everywhere.
kids.
Yeah, I know. They have like like here in New York, someone gets married at like 32, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Midwest, they have like 5 kids already.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I go and they're like, we're having our 3rd kid. And they're younger than me, and I'm just like, gee, I mean, all right.
It seems really like
that's an adult.
It seems like a bad choice until like you get to the other end, and they're like in their mid-40s, and everyone's out of the house. And like, we still have our whole life ahead of us. Like,
what do we do
as
now?
opposed to the rest of us, where it's like you send your last kid off to college and you just die. It's like it's like I don't know. It's such a weird.
But you were kind of a young dad for New York.
I guess so. I was 35 when my kid was born.
I guess that's normal.
Seems you're right in there, right in the wheelhouse.
Right in the medium, yeah. So wait, so you went away to college to start, and then came back. You hated it.
Katrina hit, and it just wasn't. It wasn't the same.
It wasn't what you signed up for.
Yeah, I was also just New Orleans is. They're just so used to hurricanes that they were like, yeah, we'll see you in 3 days. Just come back in 3 days. And then they were like underwater. We're like, well, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Now. So the whole term was canceled. And then I went to school here for half a term. And then I went back. And it was definitely different. It was a different New Orleans. It was still great. And it was like, it had that cool camaraderie kind of like, oh, we're New Orleans. We're like, we dealt with
New Orleans strong.
Yeah, right.
Every city just adopted the strong thing. Yeah, anytime they get hit with something, you're Boston strong, Vegas strong. It's like.
But there was like weird. It was weird in New Orleans where one street would be fine, and then you'd walk 1 block over, and you're like, "There's a lot of people with guns on that block."
Yeah.
Like, all right. I remember when I used to go to this bar with my friends on Fridays or Saturdays, and the one night I didn't go, my best friend just got held up at gunpoint, and my other friend just was like too drunk, so he was like, "Fuck you," and he just walked away.
Oh my gosh.
And then you had a Spanish test about it.
So you were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it was. No, it's not really what. I mean, it was also like I was doing more and more stand-up, so I was like, I just wanted to come back. I just wanted to come back to the city.
You started stand-up in New Orleans?
No, I was in high school and I did D.F. Sweedler's class at the comic strip, and Joe Mackey was in the class with me.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, I mean, we were still super tight, obviously. And then, so I did that, and I did a few open mics. I was so bad. I sucked. I'm like, it's painful to even think about. Like, I remember having VHS tapes, then I like broke them because I was like, I don't want any evidence.
I got mine all converted recently. When I moved, I found I had all my old VHS tapes, and I got them converted to DVD.
That old like Vietnam vet who had that like back office.
Yeah, that guy. He did all the
at Gotham.
I forget his name, but yeah, you're probably too. When did you start doing comedy? 2005. Yeah, maybe? So you probably don't remember. There was this guy. We used to do bringers and stuff, and
they would they would just send you to this guy's little like back office. And
he would, in the Me Too era, that guy would not have had a business. It was too creepy. It was, but yeah.
Those videos, think about handing videotapes. Like, you'd have to mail a tape to a booker. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
With like do like a ton of work with labels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to be
do your own labels.
Like, secretary. You'd like have all the Kinkos.
Although those were the driven people back then, because anyone can just email a link. Actually mailing something takes effort.
Right.
Yeah. There was no links.
No.
Couldn't send a link.
Well, I was kidding. Never mind. So you did more. Who did we have on from New Orleans? Who was the other guest we talked about?
Sean Padden.
We've had Sean.
We had
Mark Normand.
We've not had Mark.
We didn't have
Neil
Mark. We didn't
Stasny.
have Mark.
No,
These are the people I knew. Well, I didn't know Mark or Sean then, but I knew Neil then.
Yeah, who's the guy? He lives there now. He used to work at. Oh, I'm blanking. I'm not talking about that. So you started doing more and more there, and then you were like, I'm moving back to the city.
Yeah, and
Cassidy Henahan.
oh,
That's the
okay.
name I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
He's
I
from-
never really knew him.
Okay.
I know the
He lives there
name.
now.
didn't
Yeah, he's
have
from a
him on
show
the
at Telephone
pod.
Bar. No. That was a whole other thing. I'm having two simultaneous thoughts.
well.
But we had somebody on the pod where we talked about New Orleans, but I
Got
don't
it.
remember. Well, I might have been Sean.
It really is a great city. It's like there's no city like New Orleans. Like it's what New Orleans is to America, Montreal is to Canada. It's
Yeah.
like the most un-American city.
Alex just came back from there, so.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun, right? Yeah, I have a lot of good New Orleans stories just from like partying there too much and just making horrible decisions
Yeah.
with my life. I remember
I went there
I
for-
hitchhiked once there, which was like the dumbest thing. I was just like, I just got in a strange dude's car.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Do you want some weed?" And I was like, "Sure." And I just got high with it. I was how hammered I was.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "I go to Tulane." And he was like, "I'll drive you there." And he did, and everything was fine. I got
Wow.
roofied there on campus.
Ooh.
I drank. This is a crazy one.
You don't hear about the male roofie.
Well, it
too
wasn't meant
often.
for me.
Right.
I was at a frat party. I was like a freshman. I was just like, oh, just check out the frats. And I went to this party, and this frat was very nice to me. I found out later they're like the racist frat.
Yeah.
They were like, they got in trouble for blackface. I'm like, all right, I should not go there.
Yeah.
So
Great parties.
So anyway, I'm partying there with a friend of mine, and this guy hands this really attractive girl a drink, and she was like, "Oh, I'm too drunk. I'm not going to drink it." And I was like, "I'll drink it." And I could see him annoyed. I was like, I wonder why he's annoyed.
Yeah.
And I drank it, and I was like, that's all I remember. I found out apparently the guy I was with was also roofied. We weren't drunk. We were just like, maybe a minor buzz. And I wake up with a voicemail from the friend I was with, and he was just like, his voice was screeching. It was like, oh, that's, I guess, what you sound like.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Like, who would want to fuck someone like that?
Jeez.
Deke, that's who.
It'd be great if the guy saw you get the drink and he was like, okay. Yeah, drink up.
It's crazy.
He's like, fuck it, beggars can't be choosers.
It's crazy to think that you got roofied, and that was probably like the best case scenario.
I know.
You're
that-
like the
that
Terry
was-
Crews of frat roofie.
That was it's like thank God I got roofied.
I remember this frat tried to like get me to join the frat. They were like, well, you should join our frat. And I was like, nah, I'm all right. But they were like, no, so just come downstairs. So then I go downstairs and they're all in a room, and they were like, you get our first bid of the semester. And they handed me a drink. Like, with this drink, you are now one of us. And I was just like, I'm going to transfer out and go back to New York.
You're like, I just said no.
I just paid my dues for
Well, they were like-
Eddie Brill's stand-up comedy class, so I have to go back.
No one cares about any of these references we're making on this.
This is what we do.
Eddie Brill, man. When he got fired from Letterman, I text him like that New York Times article where, no one I guess knows this, but like, except comedy people, but like Eddie Brill got fired from Letterman as the booker because he wouldn't book enough women, I guess.
He was quoted, as I recall, in an article, sort of making some pretty broad generalizations about women in comedy that were, whether he.
We
whether
like
they,
to make our listeners do some research when they listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I texted him afterwards. I was like, cool write-up, man.
That's so funny.
and he was like, thanks. And I realized he was like, oh, I got him fired.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I remember when they had me in the room to like get me to join the frat, one of the guys like he's like a big dude, and he was clenching his fist. And I was like, why are you clenching your fist? You're going to hit me? And he was just like, no. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I think if I didn't mention he was going to hit me, I think he was trying to scare me.
Yeah,
But
I was in a fraternity. It's one of the weird parts of my life that I don't really. But it's like I was in the kind where it's like we went to a school that already was not very Greek, and then this particular fraternity was one of the newer ones, and so that was like very easy. It was like, I mean, I actually it was not there was no hazing. It was more just like, please join. We'll be nice to you. And
that looks like the frat you would join.
Yeah, basically, yeah. There was another one that was a little.
It was a chess fraternity.
Sketchy. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So wait, did you finish college in New York?
I did, but I went to I transferred to NYU. My parents were like, you cannot drop out.
Right.
And I was like, I was prepared to drop out, but I was like, I'll do a couple applications, and I only did one at NYU and Fordham.
But you were doing stand up.
Well, yeah, dude. There was actually a guy named Joe Schwartz at Tulane, and he's an agent at UTA now. He's a really great guy.
Oh, wow.
He reps like a lot of people we know. And then he basically would drive me to. He was a senior and I was a freshman, and he was just a great guy. He would just drive me to Mike's. He just liked watching comedy, and he would do it a little, but he more just liked to watch it. And he drove me to gigs like a lot, and then he was really encouraging. And then one night he's the best beer pong player I've ever seen in my life. It was like the most. I'm like, okay. I remember one night he's like, let's go into this frat and embarrass them at their own beer pong tournament. And I was like, all right. So we went in. We won the tournament, like undefeated, like 16-0.
Wow.
He did not miss a shot.
He did the heavy lifting.
I was okay,
Yeah.
but he was like.
That's like a scene in a Seth Rogen movie.
Yeah.
Yes. It was amazing. Well, anyway, and then also Tulane brought down comedians. So I remember I opened for Dat Fan.
Wow.
As a freshman,
sure.
it was like 500 Asian kids.
Peak that fan era.
Oh yeah, dude, I killed. I had a good set, not good material, but I was confident. You know,
Doing a lot of impressions of that fan's parents.
Dat Fan's like, hey!
Hey! That's my whole bit.
He had to come out and do dick jokes. Yeah, Dat Fan. Alexandro came down.
Great
The
comedy.
best.
Ted's the man. Yeah, and Bill Burr came down.
Wow.
Burr was awesome. They were all awesome, but I remember Burr was really nice, which I didn't like. I was expecting. I was like, I'm a kid. He's probably not even going to want to talk to me, but he was really nice and encouraging. And I remember it was, I forgot that Yankees player who flew the helicopter into the
Corey Lytle.
Corey Lytle, former Philly.
Yeah, he flew a helicopter in, and he was like, "Do you hear about Corey Lytle?" And I was like, "Yeah, I thought you were a Red Sox fan." He's like, "I'm not that big a fucking Red Sox fan." I remember that was like the first thing he said to me. I was like, "This guy's always funny."
Corey Lytle brought you two together.
And then
Yeah.
I was on Conan with Bill Burr like 10 years later.
Oh,
like,
wow.
And he was
That's
like, "Where did
cool.
we meet?" I'm like, "You think I'm someone else? You don't remember?"
Oh,
this."
he did. Did you tell him though?
Yeah, and he was just like, he's like, "We did your college when you were in college," and I was like, he just said, "How were we?" And I was like, "You were good.
Yeah.
I was there."
Anyone? No. I mean, he was encouraging to a college student means like hang in there.
He was, dude, at the end of his set, he was like, and one more time for Sam. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I would never even remember that. Like, it made me
Sure.
realize I should remember people's names.
Sure.
I got to really bring it.
Yeah. Well, those are like the top echelon of people, the people who are like really talented and then also like good at like people skills.
Oh my God. So there's like 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
And you've been here ever since.
Yeah. I didn't leave.
Well, I guess going to NYU jump-started being able to perform, especially around 2005, 2006.
I did a lot of sets. In college. And
So like the Cellar is right there.
I didn't go there. I was too scared to go there.
Right.
Even like the Bringers and stuff there. Like
I didn't think they did Bringers there.
I did. I guess yeah. I did Bringers at the Cellar, but that was a few years before.
I did
Yeah.
a few.
I was too intimidated. I would cross the street when I walked by.
Yeah.
I didn't want to even be near it.
In Boston, was that still open?
Yeah, but I was doing a lot of barking and stuff, and Underground Lounge and like Broadway
Sure.
and all that stuff. I didn't want like to be seen until I thought I was good enough.
Probably pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every comic's so desperate to be on TV and stuff, but I was like, it'll happen or it won't, you know.
And now you're on SNY.
MSG.
MSG, damn it!
That's how popular the show is.
I actually just
What are the other?
I
I watched the show. It's really good.
I like that he changed pretty to really. It's a really good show on a network.
MSG
I'm
is
not
bigger
sure.
than SNY.
It
MSG
is.
has the Yankee games. SNY has the Mets. It's
Actually,
like-
that's incorrect. MSG, Yes has the Yankees games.
What does MSG have?
Knicks, Rangers,
Okay.
Devils.
We had Arda Ocal on from the hockey coverage.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Well, I mean,
we've had prior MSG celebrities.
See? And we had Lexa Dat,
We did.
former
Yeah.
MSG.
Yeah.
yeah, the show's fun, man. I like doing. I mean, they're like, it's not exactly like this. They edit it heavily.
Yeah.
It's to the point that sometimes like I'd do it with Anthony DeVito, and it would be like I'd say a joke, and they'd be like, "You can't say that," and they would just cut the joke, but then they wouldn't uncut his laugh.
Right.
So it would just be him laughing, and my friends would be like, "What happened with that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
What do you think happened? Yeah.
Did they saw you and said, "Do you care about sports at all?"
I don't know
Because
how
we'd
it happened.
like
They just
to hire
called me
you?
in, and they were like, "Would you want to do a show with us?" And I kind of was like, "Well, like, let's do like monologue, interview, and then panel. That's the show I would do."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Let's do it." So then I got Anthony DeVito, and I was shocked at the guests they were able to get. They were like, we'll try to get, then it was like a test show, and they're like, we have John Starks, and I'd be like, yeah, it was my favorite player.
That's all. If you're a New York kid, you get to interview John Starks. That's like the dream.
He was on like 3 times. He was so cool. He's such a nice guy. And it was pretty
He's like
surreal.
your Abe Vigoda.
I know, he kind of was.
Just showing up.
How great was, Abe Vigoda,
He's just
man.
in bits.
No, they're a sports network, and so they have those like.
They have the
it's
connection.
interesting because it's like people. If you're a sports fan, like someone who you're like, oh my god, I'm so excited to meet that guy. Like normal people, be like John Starks would be like the 5th guest on Conan. You know what I mean? But like if you're a sports fan, it's like, oh my god, like I would much rather talk to John Starks than like some like. Actress from like SVU or whatever. It's like a weird,
Well, of course. I mean, those are always the most boring guests as actors.
Yeah,
because they think they're really charming because people like them and they're usually handsome.
Yeah,
but they don't. They're saying other people's words, so they say anything and they're just like, what, nothing? I'm like, yeah, that was not good.
But some athletes are boring too. Usually, active athletes are boring. But
a lot of athletes, though, I was shocked at how far some of them would go with their stories. Yeah, like Holyfield told amazing stories. Like certain people, they were like, he might be a little slow from all the head injuries, and he was actually amazingly cool.
That's awesome.
Certain people, Darryl Strawberry just not at all care. I mean, he was making sex jokes. He's like, yeah, I had sex between innings, stuff like that.
That was like didn't that get picked up like was that the first time he had talked about that or something, having sex between innings? I remember reading it like in the news. Like,
I think he's probably just says it all the time. I think it's a cool story. But then he also,
I would tell people too.
Darryl, he followed me on Instagram and I DM'd him recently to do my podcast, and it showed that he saw it. And he did not write back. Like, well, that killed that moment a little bit.
And then you should have written back, well, can I get a Coke hookup?
He's clean, man.
What?
I think he's like one of the only dudes that doesn't dabble back.
Yeah.
Because he's got that like religious thing now.
Yeah.
Although that would be like
Doc and Darryl was awesome. Did you see the 30 for 30?
Great.
So good.
So good. But he's almost could be like that Kenny Powers, like Craig Robinson on Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
Like the Jesus guy, but he's still doing a lot of blow.
Are you hardcore sports all around? Is there anything you ever have to fake, or can you?
I don't know hockey well at all.
Yeah.
And
that would be my blind spot as well.
I hit it off so hard with Colton Orr, the old Rangers enforcer.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt guilty that I didn't know more about hockey. Right. I mean, I read up on if I have a guess, but I just don't know hockey at all.
Wasn't there like a pretty viral moment with you guys and an MMA fighter? Or somebody got...
Oh, well, Chris Weidman put me in a chokehold.
Yeah.
That's a gag that just works.
Always.
just have an athlete hurt you.
Or didn't a football player...
Justin Pugh, that was our first episode. Justin Pugh, who it sucks that we lost him. He was a really good player, but he was the Giants Pro Bowl lineman, and I was like, this is the first episode, so I'm like, I bet you could, I challenge you to stop me from sacking my head writer. So I rushed him, and the second I moved, I swear to God, one finger, he just threw me.
Yeah, that's what
these
I
guys
saw.
are like, I mean, they're pro athletes.
Yeah.
Anthony got sacked by... We had Landon Collins, the Giants safety, give him a big hit, and it wasn't even that big a hit. And Anthony was like, "That sucked.
Yeah,
that was not fun."
Yeah,
that's why I'm always like, anytime you get into those hypothetical arguments where somebody is like, I could probably win a point off of Serena Williams. It's like, absolutely not.
No
you
chance.
Not.
Every guy thinks they're like, not every guy, but so many guys think like they're just like one thing away from having been able to compete.
Yeah. No, you're not.
We're not.
Yeah. We asked Chris D on our live pod if he could score in a Knicks game.
I feel like
what did he say? But Chris could play that.
I know, but he's like, I would, if I had an open shot, I could probably hit it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you're...
But like with defense, probably not.
Chris was like a stud, though. I think Chris could have gone D1. So like some of those guys, you're like...
Right.
I mean, there's some NBA players that are like barely there, Yeah.
But
then there's some there's some G League players who are like monsters.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have anything else before we get to
Sam's
thing? Do you have? We usually ask what a typical day is like, or if there was a particularly interesting day recently, or a not interesting day. You just want to like tell us everything that happened that day. I mean,
a boring day. You want me to tell you a boring day?
No,
either way, whatever
you think's the best.
We'll
dive into minutia anyway.
You want to pick a day recently that you think that It just gives us an insight into what your life is like.
Well, I mean, I could tell you any day. I have a bulged disc in my back and pinched nerve. So today I did very little. I did Pilates, and that was like my big thing.
So
for the day.
So what time did you wake up today?
I woke up 11 maybe.
On your own, or did you set an
alarm clock?
Alarm clock.
Do you have to sleep in a certain way because of this?
No, I asked. I sleep on my. This is very uninteresting that I'm telling you, but it's not even a good injury.
This.
No, if someone says it's uninteresting, that's how we know it's
that's what we.
Yeah.
I have to go to physical therapy. It sucks.
How'd you get a bulge?
Chris D is your physical therapist?
Dude, Chris is like the guy.
He's got golden hands.
Someone was like, "Can you check my dick? I have something on my dick." And Chris was like, "Yeah, I got you."
Because what is his degree in or something?
Physical therapy.
Yeah.
He's like a kinesiologist.
He's a Renaissance
guy. I had a neck issue from sleeping poorly, and I told this on the pod. I went to a chiropractor thinking like, oh, it's just a glorified massage. No, those motherfuckers know exactly what they're doing.
They saved me. Like a couple years ago, I was in LA for a couple things, and I couldn't walk.
It's insane.
I was doing like at midnight or something, and I was like, you have to stand for like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is brutal.
Yeah.
And this guy. First off, he was jacked. Chiropractors are like doctors, but also kind of like surfer dudes out there. They're like they're broy.
They can be, yes.
Or this guy was at least.
They have giant forearms always.
Always. Yeah, well,
like Bluto.
But you also, here's the thing, is like people are always like, whenever I have back pain, there's those people that are like, it's all in your head.
Right.
You know, they're like, I read a book about it. They're just like, read this book. It's all about back pains. It's all mental. It's all stress.
What?
I'm like, people get injuries.
Yeah.
Did something trigger it? Like an accident or something?
I think I just don't know how to lift weights.
Right.
I think that's all it is.
I had stomach problems for a long time, and people would be like, it's stress. Like it's, and I would always say, this is the only thing stressing me out is these stomach problems. Yeah. My life is
like
very
Alex's
easy
ulcer.
with the exception of this. And then finally it was like, diagnosed. But I mean, I actually figured it out. But
stress is obviously
it's real, but
it exacerbates it. But it's also like, no, you can be hurt.
Yeah,
that's possible.
So you sleep on your stomach?
I do.
Because of the bulging disc?
No, I always have.
Oh, you always have?
I thought that was normal. Someone told me recently.
Like arm under the pillow?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah,
is
that's
that weird?
Interesting. No, I feel like as an adult, you kind of...
I would used to sometimes nap. This is weird. I always sleep on my side, and I always like to face... I don't know. I face away from my wife. I face left, but then if I'm on the right, it kind of is. But then I used to sometimes nap on my stomach. Like if I had like half an hour to lie down, I would lie on my stomach.
How about those people? You ever get in I used to get in like relationship fights, and they just like turn away from you in bed. That's like the move. Like I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
And then they'll like in the middle of the night turn to you, and you're like, all right, I guess that means I'm forgiven.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
So you sleep, or when you wake up face to face.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a while.
So you wake up at 11. You set your alarm because you have something to do, or just because you don't want to?
I don't want to waste a day.
Yeah, okay.
I want to. I feel guilty because stand-up's my only job, so I just feel like I have to put a lot of work.
We have the show.
No, it's not on.
Oh,
right
it's
now.
done. Okay,
it might be done for good. I don't know, but I mean, I think the Knicks record impacted. Whether or not they're going to keep going.
They're even ruining their fans' lives.
Well, they have. What happens is the Knicks and the Rangers are both playing poorly. So
the Rangers were good for a while.
Yeah, but
so it probably hurts all ancillary programming.
You know what's interesting? When the show, in the beginning of the season, when the Knicks were winning a lot, I was getting recognized like pretty regularly, and then they start playing horribly, and no one watches.
Right. Porzingis got hurt.
I was at that game, dude. That was a rough one. I was courtside for that. I was there with my buddy Stavros.
I was going to say, do you get good seats?
Because they hooked up courtside seats, great. Not too often, but occasionally, which was, amazing. So I'm there with my buddy Stavros, who worked on the show, and he kind of roots for the Knicks, but he's Greek. He loves Giannis. So we were playing the Bucks. I made a point to get
right. He's going crazy.
He's going crazy, but Porzingis is playing out of his mind. Like Porzingis is blocking Giannis multiple times. Yeah. He's draining everything. He got injured on a throwdown dunk on Giannis.
Yeah.
Tears his ACL. So anyway, Michael Che's there with Cecily Strong from SNL, and her cousin is there at the game with her, and her cousin is right in front of Porzingis, and she's bent over like the image is like her hands in front of her eyes.
That's Cecily
New York
Strong's
crying,
cousin.
and that was on the cover of the New York Post. It was on like the Sports Center thing. It was everywhere, and we're all at a bar together afterwards. And Che and I are depressed as hell. We're just doing shots, and she's there, and she's like, "I'm on TV," and we're like, "This is
Yeah, it's
supposed
not
to be
a
a
good
sad
reason.
night."
It's like
Yeah,
being in the
not a good
Zapruder.
reason.
I was the girl in the Zapruder film.
Yeah.
It was, but it was like a crazy. I mean, it's the second worst. It's probably the second worst Knicks game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Second worst sporting event.
What was the worst?
The worst was the Ewing finger roll. I was at that game
Oh, yeah.
against the Pacers.
Uh-huh.
That was like ripped my heart out. hard.
Playoff.
I hated Indiana.
Yeah.
If I was at the Reggie Miller
Right. Well, there's also
8 points in 9 seconds,
the
that would be the
Charles
worst.
Smith game where he.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. Yeah, the Knicks have just had some tough breaks, man. That 90s team with Starks and Ewing was
You
like
would,
one of the
at this
coolest
point, you
teams
would
ever.
give anything for like a playoff loss, like a close playoff loss. That would be like a dream.
How sad is that? You know what I was telling my friend is I was like, it's rough when like for the Knicks to have good news in May, it's a coach hiring.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, and I love Fizdale.
Fizdale's going to be
Yeah, they
good.
did a good job.
I think he's awesome.
He'll be fun with the media.
He will, because he's smart and he's cool.
And if they push his buttons enough, he'll freak out.
But they just need to really commit to rebuilding. Because I don't like the whole win now. I don't like when they're just getting these aging stars. It's just been the Knicks way for
Beasley.
so long. I loved Beasley this year, though, because Beasley is not, he's technically in his prime. He's a great off-the-bench guy, I think.
Yeah.
He's a great scorer. I don't love the ball stopping that he does all the
Yeah.
time, but he's,
Yeah.
he's a great player.
So what do you do when you get out of bed at 11? Or you get out of bed right away, or you
I make eggs.
what kind of eggs?
I just
Are you
Scramble?
stretching when you get out of bed?
Yeah, I've been doing stretches.
You have some stretches?
I make coffee. I have eggs.
Scrambled eggs?
No, I just throw them in there.
Fried eggs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that worse for you?
No, it's the same.
No.
Yeah, it was. I did that. I make coffee. I got like a good grind and brew maker. It's nice.
Yeah.
Makes it fresh. Smells good. I like that smell in the morning.
Yeah.
Best.
And then what time is Pilates?
It was at 4.
So what'd you do
so that's-
between eggs and Pilates?
I had lunch with my dad in Midtown, and what else? And then I was.
How often does that happen?
Not often, but he's a lawyer. He travels for work a lot, so he hasn't been here in a while. So I missed him. So we hung out.
That's nice.
With the Pilates class, is this like a class? Or it's a solo
Yeah, what's rough?
one-on-one?
I don't like it. No, it's a class. You know what sucks is that I like playing ball. I like running. I like doing stuff. Like I saw Michelle Wolf posted that picture where she ran like 50 miles. That's not
Yeah.
me, but like I would like to do like 4 or 5 miles of just like a run.
Yeah.
and sweat it out. And it's like this doesn't like.
She probably had a lot of adrenaline after that.
Yeah.
She was
I
probably
mean,
on a big
holy
high.
shit, right?
Yeah, she probably could have run 100.
I know.
Secret Service protection.
Yeah.
But I just I want to.
It's too slow for you?
The Pilates.
I mean,
It's
no.
what-
I mean, this is what physically I can handle now. But that's why being injured sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to.
How long has this been going on?
Months.
Oh, man.
You know what happened? I remember the day it happened because we had CC Sabathia on our show. And DeVito kept making fun of me because he's like, my back. He kept doing impressions of me, and I'm like, no, it's really bad. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay. Like he just thinks that's how much I whine that DeVito wouldn't even give me any sympathy.
Oh, I'm the worst. Yesterday I woke up and I somehow hurt my ankle in my sleep. And it was bothering me all
Well,
day.
at one pod or 2 pods ago, I talked about I got stretched,
Yeah.
which has been my dream, is to be stretched like an athlete. And
nice.
they opened a place.
You were talking about your old man pain, and,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't get that. And then, 2 days
You
later,
broke your ankle
yeah.
in your sleep. I feel like my hamstrings are just tied in a double knot every morning when I
It's
wake up.
painful, man.
So this place Stretched is opening. It's in Chelsea. I think
Yeah.
I said Gramercy on the podcast.
by the
It's
makers
another
of Chops.
small,
Right, yeah.
small detail I got wrong that Jamie pointed out.
STRETCH
But it's called
apostrophe D.
Stretch with an apostrophe and a D. And the guy just came over, put me on a table, and stretched me like
right.
I was one of the Knicks.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It was the best.
It's awesome. And
It's
also,
all I dream about.
You know what I did on a road gig recently is I got a massage, and the woman was like, she was amazing. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, you need a professional who like studied the body. Some people
Yeah.
just go to these like rinky dink places. But
I had a massage in Hawaii on my honeymoon. It was like a 4'5" little woman with the strongest feet ever. She did what's called a back walk. She just walked all over me and massaged me with her feet, basically. And she hangs from bars and does. It was the most insane thing. It was incredible. I wanted to pack her in a suitcase and
I've never
smuggle
been a
her into
massage
New York.
guy. I don't find it relaxing.
Well, I don't feel like you like to be touched by
I don't like to
strangers.
be, it's not. No, it's not really touched by strangers. It's more just like
by an
I
angel.
just don't get much. I just like I wish I was
Reese.
somewhere else right now. I'm like I wish I had my phone or something. But
But you got to be careful if you have an injury and you go to like a shitty massage place. They can really fuck you up.
So
Exactly.
the Pilates, you get sweaty from the Pilates? Is it like a
Not
real
really.
workout?
What are you
or
wearing?
I wore yellow shorts,
Of course.
and I wore a.
Like mesh?
No, they're like half sweatpants, or like
Got it.
Nike shorts,
Right.
and then just a t-shirt.
Are you
and-
preoccupied with the women in the class?
No, they were all much older.
Got it. So
I'm
it's
just-
not like.
But they're all like they know what they're doing. I have an injury, so the woman asked like, "Do you have any injuries?" So I told her in the beginning. So she was good. She'd monitor me.
Are you on the machines? They're not machines, but
No,
like
no.
the apparatus, the
No.
wooden.
No, I think that's like a different type of thing.
Yeah.
That's like a different type of class, I think. But yeah, no, I mean you feel better after. I mean, I definitely am like my posture's so bad. I'm just like I slump all the time. I think having stress adds to it. Like I think when you're stressed, and I don't deal well with stress. I have to start meditating. I never thought I'd be this person.
Wow.
I hate it.
Yeah. Does it help?
Yeah, it helps because you just got to be in control of your breathing. I get so out of whack. I've bailed on shit constantly because of stress.
That's what the podcast is about.
Yeah. No, I've like
We'll
I've
get
like,
to the blow off.
No, but I mean like I definitely cancel plans over stress.
Yeah. What
Sure.
with meditating? Do you have a mantra?
No. I just try to control my breathing and think positive.
That's cool.
You shower at the gym after Pilates?
No, it doesn't. It's like a tiny gym. It doesn't even have a shower.
Yeah, so you go home,
I go home.
shower.
I went home. I showered right before I came here.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I went back. I worked on I'm doing new jokes at the cellar, so I worked on a couple new jokes. Mm-hmm. And one of them is about blowing people off. That gave me.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well.
You computer, like pencil and paper?
Everything. I do everything. I do notes on like a pad, and then I write it into my computer, and then I email it to myself.
Is it written out like word for word, or you sort of like have the general idea and then you go up on stage and you play around with it?
I do both. Because
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm like, well, if it sounds too written, it's not funny because you're just, well, that's not, you don't want it to sound like a monologue. But then also sometimes like the exact wording does actually help a little. So I try to go in between.
Yeah.
If there's like a funny word that sometimes some people are like my mom has a great vocabulary, and sometimes when she's being funny, she uses like too exact the word. I'm like, that's funny in a short story. That's
Right.
not funny
Yeah.
on
It's funny on
stage.
paper.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it has to sound like you're searching for it a little bit.
Yeah, that's funny in like
Yeah.
a Dave Eggers funny. It's not funny in like,
Mike Lupica.
yeah.
But then the flip side of that is like there are people where it's like, oh, I don't go up there with like written out, and I'm like, and like, yeah, it's more just like I get in the flow, and I'm like, you're really funnier. You're a really funny person, but I think you could be 10% funnier if you like maybe wrote this out, like where it's like
Yeah,
maybe
people are
if you-
lazy.
yeah,
There are
yeah.
people who are like, there are people that are like, this is my therapy. I'm like, well, it's not therapy. It's
Yeah.
it's entertainment.
It's a job.
Yeah, yeah.
People
You're an
paid.
entertainer.
And then there's like the other extreme, with, like Gary Goldman. It's like, wow, you can see
Right.
the words on paper, and I love it.
Well, Gary's almost like a short story
Yeah.
guy who works because his voice is so down as a
It's-
comic, and it's so silly, and he
Right.
always he always comes back. Like he's like going along this road, and it's like, let me go off here for a second. Now I'm back on the road. It's like the same thing for 7 minutes. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so tonight you're going. Tonight it's a Monday, so you'll do how many spots tonight?
I'm only doing one tonight.
Just tonight.
This is like
Just
a
one.
lighter week right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Did you talk about your back?
You have a couple back jokes.
So you'll go to the cellar, you'll do a spot, and then what happens after that?
Tonight I'm probably going to work on a show idea I have. I'll go home and work on a show idea I have. But
So you'll like after stand up, you'll do more work or whatever.
I'm going to try to. I
Yeah.
think sometimes like it's weird. That's why my schedule is so messed up usually because I feel like my brain is best at night because if I tell jokes, I'm thinking like I perform, I'm thinking in that rhythm
Yeah, you're in the
and how
Yeah.
I talk. So I feel like I need to work at night.
Is there a late night meal?
It varies. Like sometimes there's a Chinese place around my block that's open super late. It's open till like 2, and the food's good, but it gives me the fucking worst upset stomach. But it's really good. So I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll just like make like something at home. Sometimes I'll just a lot of energy bars. Because I don't feel like cooking a lot, and they're easy.
Yeah.
It's a
that sounds
meal in a bar.
It sounds so depressing.
No, not as much, because you made eggs and you had lunch with your dad, so it's like if the third meal is an energy bar. You know what I mean? Like if you had 2 real meals. And
How was lunch with your dad?
It was good. It was good. I hadn't seen him forever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does he like that you're a comedian? Was that like a tough
Yeah,
sell
he does.
in the beginning?
He likes it. I think I get annoyed when I see comics being like, I had to tell my parents I'm a comedian. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool job. If you're making a living at it, it's cool.
It is, yeah. If you're not, it's not. But it's like, yeah. But I that was how my thing went. Was like every step of the way, I always had like some sort of like carrot to dangle, where it's like, hey, like I'm doing this thing. Like, oh, that's like semi exciting. Like, it's.
They were weird.
If you're showing progress.
Exactly. At first, they were like, what does this mean? I think once you show them what it means and that you're making like an actual living, they're like, oh, this is cool. But like, yeah, at first they were a little nervous, but then I remember the night they got less nervous is I opened for Jim Jeffries at the Best Buy Theater in Times Square, and they came, and first off, they didn't know anything about Jim Jeffries, so that to me was hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm squeaky clean either. But I'm their son, so there's almost like the past there.
Yeah.
So it went well. It was packed. It was huge. And then my parents liked him. I was shocked they liked him.
Yeah.
Like my mom was like, he's filthy, but he's very smart.
Yeah.
I was like, that is actually
it's a very accurate review.
Yeah. And it was what's cool is it was that tour, like when he was figuring out that 15-minute gun bit, which is like his epic bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the signature.
I mean, our parents, they raised us so that we could do whatever we wanted, which is kind of, in one sense, the problem with the whole world, but,
But also fun.
But also fun for us, yeah.
It is a problem, but also if it's your kid, what are you going to be, a dick?
Yeah.
Just, be nice.
Yeah, as long as, there's people doing a lot worse than us.
There's also something weird where it's like, people that are like, well, their parents raised them, but are just assholes. Well, then why do you have kids?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
When do you predict you'll go to sleep tonight?
If I'm lucky, 4.
Yeah.
That's like a work day.
I guess.
Yeah.
I used to feel guilt about it. Now I just kind of accept it. Also, the seller, not tonight, but they have me on such a late.
Yeah.
Generally, she'll book me at least 5 nights a week or 6 nights a week. And it's like, if I'm in the city and if I'm on the road, and she just loves to put me on that late show.
Right? Yeah.
And like, I will get home 2 or 3 after I get off the train, so it's a late night.
Yeah, you're working nights, and that's like when you're peaking. You know what I mean? Like it's you want to be like on.
Also, it's hard to just like get right off stage and be like, now I'm going home. Like I'm not one of those people. I kind of want to sit down for a second.
I can. I don't do a ton of spots. It's because I have a kid.
But you have a family to go home.
So I sort of I'm just like I've gotten accustomed to like doing my spot, getting right on the subway, going right home, and going to sleep.
But yeah, you work. A certain schedule every day. You're probably burnt out, and you have a family. So if you didn't just go home, you'd be kind of a dick.
Yeah, right.
So you have to.
Yeah, but I've definitely, there were long periods in my 20s when I was not employed, where I was on the basically 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. sleep schedule for sure.
I kind of like, well, who cares? I'm also in a period right now where I just want to be on the road all the time. So I've been on the road like almost every weekend, and I'm happy about it. I don't want to be home.
So you leave on a Friday?
No, usually a Thursday. Sometimes Wednesday, usually Thursday.
How are you at packing? Do you have like a bag always packed?
No, yeah, I do. I always have.
What's your go-to? Like,
I have a wheelie bag that's always out. Go-to, always a bathing suit. Swim some laps if I can. That's
good for your back.
Good for your back. Great for your hangover. Sweat it out. It really helps. Swimming. I have that. I bring 2 pairs of sneakers, one for the gym, one for the show.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it's just pretty standard laptop. What
are you looking to do in the city? Before
depends on the city. I was just in Kentucky. I made a point. I wanted to go to a distillery, but it was like I only really had one day, so I was like, I went to Keeneland, the racetrack.
Oh yeah, I went there.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to Louisville next weekend for.
I went on like a
listeners
guy's
know that
trip to
the
Kentucky's great.
We're doing
Yeah,
the
it's great.
distillery tour for our collective 40th.
Yeah.
I want to do it, man.
Yes.
I wanted to do it. I was bummed I missed it, but it was also like, because of Keeneland, the traffic was insane. It would have taken me like an hour and a half to get
Right.
there.
Yeah.
We purposely didn't go on Derby weekend.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Dude, the track is awesome. Kentucky is awesome.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I got a lot of material out of it. They wanted to hear a Jew from New York's perspective on the track.
Yeah,
I liked it.
that's fun.
I'm sure.
So anything else, or we should. I know you're
well,
you're literally going to do
you-
a spot at the cellar.
you
This is
talk
you
about-
squeezed this in.
Blowing things off. I'm excited to do the blow off with you. Tell us about a time recently when you've blown somebody off using some form of the phrase "Sorry, I've been so busy." What's your go-to phrase? How do you get out of doing things?
This is what happened. I did a bit about this last night, so this is what I'm working on as a bit, and I'll tell you what happened. I say, a friend of mine, we saw each other and we're like, oh, we should see a movie on Wednesday, and he was like, yeah, we should do that. I was like, we'll definitely do that. And then Wednesday came around, and I was like, please don't text me. I was like, please don't text me. And then he didn't, and I didn't text him. And then the next time we saw each other, neither of us brought it up, and I was like, that's a real friend.
Yeah.
So it's about Ryan Hamilton, the comic, who's a really good friend, and we see movies all the time together. He's an Upper West Sider, I am too, and we just kind of always hang. But it's like there is something about that laziness, and like I told this to my friend, he's like, well, it's not just laziness, you're just both tired. We're both on the road a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And I just think I don't realize how tired I am from travel sometimes. But it's like that classic thing where I get so stressed out by people saying, like, what are you doing on, like, the 18th? And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I hate that. Those lead-ins like that just stress me out.
Yeah.
I don't like, it feels like you're being trapped.
I'm the opposite, where like not having things planned like stresses me out. It stresses me out not knowing what I'm doing on the 18th, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, I just assume it's nothing, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm not stressed out.
Do you think, now here's a weird, do you think like in terms of like you guys not texting you, was that just coincidence that neither of you was in the mood, or was there some sort of like metaphysical mind meld where like each of you like realized that the other did not want to hang out and you sort of
No, I think we were both tired.
Yeah.
Because I think we do want to. We did. I think we like hanging out with each other. We like going to the movies.
Yeah.
And he's just a fun guy to hang out with. I love him. But it's funny. We ran into each other we were both going to on the Metro North. So we were both doing one-nighters on Saturday, and I ran into him on the shuttle from Times Square to Grand Central.
Oh wow.
And we both kind of like knew that we just didn't do that, and we were both kind of like happy to see each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I think one of the things that we both kind of laughed about it. We were like, yeah, we were just tired.
Yeah.
Now you'll never see Chappaquiddick.
Which one is that?
That's
the
funny.
movie about Ted Kennedy.
That is so
Gaffigan,
funny
right?
that was,
yeah, he's in
Gaffigan
it
is
in like a
That's right.
serious role.
Yeah.
I saw Infinity War.
Oh, that's what we were going to see.
Yeah, it's
Is
too
it-
long.
Is it
So
not
long.
good? Should I
No,
not-
It's
literally.
good. If you like that shit, it's good.
I don't even really like it's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I would think it's too long for somebody with a back injury.
Really?
Oh my goodness!
I want to see the one.
You got to sit in one of those
Should probably know.
Go to one of those theaters with the recliners.
It's going to be long based on the word infinity in the title.
Yeah.
That's usually a good hint.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's just too
Every
many
movie's a superhero
movies.
Yeah.
movie now.
I know, and everyone's like Black Panther is like the greatest. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
see
okay.
any of them.
Matt doesn't do any of that.
I'm
They're all
completely-
fine.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
I have a whole thing. I can't go into it right now. It's too complicated. Dude, it's been so fun.
It's
Thank
been
you
fun, yeah.
for
I hope I
coming.
wasn't too boring.
Yeah, no
on,
worries. Do you have anything you want to plug? Any social media?
What,
any gigs? Any dates?
I got a podcast called Keeping Joe that I do at the Cellar with Joe Mackey and Phil Hanley and Liz, who's the manager there. It's a lot of fun. What do I have? When does this come out?
Wednesday.
I have a bunch of. I think I'm at Clusterfest in San Francisco in June. I'm at Magooby's Joke House in June. I'm at.
These all sound like made up things.
Balmer.
Magooby's, the
Magooby's and Balmer.
Clusterfest.
Yeah.
It's a good club. It's connected to a bourbon bar, which
There you go.
awesome.
That's dangerous.
I know. And then you're like, that crowd sucked. I deserve your $25 a glass scotch.
Yeah.
And then, I'm at Sacramento Punchline in June. A lot Dallas Hyenas coming up. A lot of fun. That one
All right.
they all sound made up. You're right. But I don't know. A lot of
All
fun
right.
stuff coming up, though. Oh, special coming out in September on Comedy Central. Our special called Positive Influence.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the big one. Yeah. Oh, wait.
should be
hold
called
on. Alex.
at the taping.
Oh, you were at the taping.
Best jokes.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Guys got
thanks,
the
man.
best jokes.
Where was it? Here? You taped it here?
It was in
no,
Brooklyn.
Oh, in
yeah.
Brooklyn.
It was
That's here.
It was an awesome venue.
Yeah,
it,
that's awesome.
It looks, dude. The set designer, this guy Tom Lenz, unreal.
I know Tom Lenz.
Unbelievable.
Why
He's
do I
so-
know that name?
Tom Lenz. He does like all TV sets. I've
wow.
worked with him many times.
Great.
He had like a Empire State Building background. It looks insane. He's so talented.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to it. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
Stay busy, everybody.
Stay busy, everybody.
Get my voicemail cause I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'ma hit you later cause I'm busy. Busy with her.